Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. If you enjoy inspiring sports stories, be sure to subscribe and join us on the journey.
Bristol Bears re-sign Lia Green, a meaningful homecoming and a promising new chapter in women's rugby. Whenever I follow the journeys of young athletes in women's rugby, I'm always inspired by stories that go beyond talent alone. They reflect dedication, growth, perseverance, and the willingness to keep improving. Bristol Bears' decision to bring Lia Green back to the club ahead of the 2026-27 Premiership Women's Rugby season is exactly that kind of story. It is more than simply adding another player to the squad. It marks the return of a talented athlete who was developed through Bristol's own academy system before gaining valuable experience and maturing in a highly competitive environment. At just 22 years old, Lia Green is entering a pivotal stage of her career. This is often the point where a promising young player begins transforming potential into genuine influence on the field. Bristol Bears' decision to re-sign her demonstrates the club's confidence in the progress she has made over recent years and their belief that she can play an important role in the team's long-term plans.
What stands out most to me is not just the statistics, although Green's achievements with Loughborough Lightning are certainly impressive. Across 4 seasons with the East Midlands club, she made 30 appearances and scored 109 points. Those numbers highlight her consistency, contribution, and the valuable experience she has gained competing at the highest level of women's rugby. However, what matters even more is the journey behind those statistics. Lia Green came through Bristol Bears' talent pathway before studying at Millfield, a school renowned for developing elite young athletes. Her career has not been built on overnight success, but rather on years of structured development. Continuous learning and relentless self-improvement. In my view, the idea of coming home gives the story a particularly meaningful dimension. Many athletes need to leave the place where they first began in order to pursue greater opportunities, experience new challenges, and prove themselves in different environments. Yet there is something truly special about returning to the club that laid the foundation for your career, this time as a stronger, more experienced version of yourself.
In her own comments, Green expressed genuine appreciation for Bristol Bears' role in her development. She emphasized the importance of the club's academy system in shaping her career and described the opportunity to return to the senior team as something truly special. I believe this reflects an admirable attitude, appreciating where you came from while continuing to embrace new challenges ahead. Another aspect I admire about Lia Green is the growth mindset evident in her reflections on recent seasons. She spoke not only about improving her rugby skills but also about developing as a person. In professional sport, talent is essential, but qualities such as humility, adaptability, and a commitment to learning are often what allow athletes to sustain long-term success. Bristol Bears also appear to have a clear vision for building the future of their squad. Green's arrival is particularly significant following the mid-season departure of Rugby, which left a gap at fly half. Although players such as Millie Hyatt and Kira Bevan stepped into the role during the closing stages of the season, Green offers another quality option while increasing the team's tactical flexibility. Her ability to play in multiple positions, including fly half and fullback, represents a major asset in modern rugby. Today's teams increasingly rely on versatile players because matches can change rapidly, requiring constant tactical adjustments. A player capable of filling multiple roles not only provides coaches with more options but also creates healthy competition throughout the squad.
Head coach Scott Lawson's comments further illustrate the club's expectations for Green. He praised her impressive skill set and acknowledged the progress she made during her time at Loughborough Lightning. In particular, her game management, accurate kicking, and positional versatility are viewed as qualities that can significantly strengthen Bristol Bears' squad depth. That said, I believe the most important thing for Lia Green over the coming months is not the pressure to become an immediate star. Every young player needs time to adapt to a new environment, new tactical systems, and greater expectations. Sustainable development usually comes through steady progress rather than a handful of standout performances. I also think Green's journey offers an important lesson for sports fans, especially young athletes. Success is rarely a straight path. Sometimes we need to leave our comfort zone, experience different environments, and embrace new challenges in order to grow. Green's decision to leave Bristol, develop at Loughborough, and eventually return with greater experience perfectly demonstrates the value of that process. For Bristol Bears supporters, Lia Green's return represents hope for a new generation of homegrown talent. A successful club is built not only through high-profile signings, but also through its ability to develop, retain and eventually reintegrate academy graduates into the senior squad. Whenever a player returns after progressing through the club's own development system, it reflects the strength and sustainability of that pathway. Green's return is also part of a wider effort by Bristol Bears to strengthen their women's squad. The club has welcomed back Lucy Burgess from Harlequins while also signing Orla Proctor, Pip Hendy, Bethan Lewis, and Women's Rugby World Cup champion Ellie Kildunn. These additions underline Bristol's ambition to compete at the highest level while building greater depth throughout the roster.
Of course, rugby matches are not won simply by assembling talented players on paper. Success depends on chemistry, tactical understanding, and collective commitment. Green's real challenge will be turning her individual talent into a valuable contribution for the entire Bristol Bears team. Looking at the bigger picture, this story also reflects the continued growth of women's rugby. Young players now have greater access to structured development pathways, professional competition, and sustainable career opportunities. This progress benefits not only the athletes themselves but also raises the overall standard of the game and attracts a growing fan base. For me, Lia Green's return to Bristol Bears is inspiring because it brings together so many of sport's most meaningful values: personal growth, gratitude, resilience, continuous learning, and ambition. A young athlete leaves home to develop, gains valuable experience elsewhere, and then returns with the desire to contribute even more to the club that helped launch her career. That captures the true spirit of professional sport.
I hope Lia Green continues to approach this opportunity with humility, determination, and a willingness to keep learning. Supporters should get behind her while also remaining patient, because every young player deserves the time needed to fully realize their potential. The greatest lesson I take from this story is that, in both sport and life, strong foundations, consistent effort, and a commitment to lifelong learning will always matter more than short-term success. An athlete may begin in a youth academy, face different challenges along the way, and gradually become the very best version of themselves. That is the true beauty of sport. Sometimes the journey itself becomes even more memorable than the final result. Hopefully, the 2026-27 season will mark the beginning of an exciting new chapter for both Lia Green and Bristol Bears. While there will undoubtedly be challenges ahead, Green now has the talent, experience, and support of a club with a clear long-term vision. Together, those qualities give her every opportunity to continue writing her own remarkable story in professional women's rugby.
Thank you for supporting Scrum Masters Elite_UK. We look forward to seeing you again in our next meaningful sports story. Don't forget to follow the channel.